Yeah, like with the position that Ethereum's in right now and how much companies have on the line, they're going to send it higher. It's just inevitable. It's just
Yes.
waiting for Bitcoin to cool off a little bit. I think we're going to get one more. Personally, I think we're going to get one more big leg out of Bitcoin. I think did you have the fibs on Bitcoin?
Yes, I should. And if not, I'll redraw them. I actually already have fibs on this different pane for Brett, so I want to show the guys what Brett's looking at. But yeah, let's look at Bitcoin real quick. All right. So I don't have them drawn on here, but I'll draw it real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, so I mean, I think that we've been preaching it since May, May or June, just about exactly what was going to happen. So we said Bitcoin was going to drastically outperform Ethereum. It would suck up dominance, and then eventually, once Bitcoin starts to cool off, Ethereum's going to get the green light to run, and that's when altcoin inevitably is going to begin.
Uh-huh.
So obviously it's easy to talk about it, but once you start having those red days where your portfolio is down 10 to 15% on the day, it's easy to start reconsidering. You want to capitulate, you want to get out and say, all right, I can't take this volatility anymore. But like I've said again and again, if you guys enjoy the volatility to the upside, you got to enjoy the volatility to the downside just as much. And that's where, like Priamo said, you got to be DCAing, you got to be buying more, and you just got to have confidence and conviction in your plays. And know that we've done the research, know that we've studied this, know that it's exactly playing out. I mean, we've heard plenty of people say it that it almost seems like a simulation, the crypto markets, how consistently they move in cycles and how cyclical the market really is. It almost seems like a simulation because it's just the same thing over and over again. So yeah, January is Ethereum season,
Yes.
and it's still early. So even for Brett, I mean, he's gonna pull the fibs on that here in a second. Even though Brett already broke out a little bit, if you zoom out a little bit as far as what it's going to do this cycle once it gets some major exchange listings, which I think at this point, in my opinion, are inevitable. Um, there's still so much meat left on the bone. And the longer you
Yeah.
guys wait, the longer you guys, wonder if it's going to go higher, you wait for a better entry. Every one of the boys club members right now is a buy, strong buy, according to TradingView.
Strong buy. Buy it. Buy it. So if you look at the fibs on Bitcoin, so the next area we're going to be looking for is around 112,000 is where the 2.618 is on the fibs. So expect it through the end of December. We're probably going to get some sideways price action for the first week or two of December. Then the Santa rally comes in, so everybody's getting their money. A bunch of options and calls and things in financial markets are going to start closing, which is going to be a big liquidity release for traders, which is going to inevitably rotate into Bitcoin, which is going to send the price higher as well. So you should see it. I expect it to go higher than the actual fib. So we're going to get this for the next couple of weeks. We're going to get something like this. Boom, 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 boom. And then we'll probably overshoot it a little bit to about 118-ish, 120-ish, and then create a range in here, something like this, before we take the next leg higher, right? Something like that, and then go up again. So expect it. We're expecting about 115, 120,000 on Bitcoin by the end of the year. Okay, so when that next leg up, that's when you're going to start to see, once Bitcoin tops on that next leg up at the next fib, that's when you're going to see the real alt season happen. And that's when you're going to start to see the outperformance from the boys club. That's going to be fucking ridiculous, where you're waking up every single day and it's up 50, 60, 100% on your bags. And yeah, that's real. I mean, you'll literally wake up to a 2x on your bags. So, and that's whenever the alt season will start to play out. So I just want to show you guys fibs on something like Brett, because again, we've been talking about this for so long. We've been telling people to buy it. I mean, we understand what's going to happen. So Brett, previous all-time high was about 1.9, 19 cents, 19.5 cents, which was 1.9 billion dollar market cap. We come down, we get them into this reaccumulation down here. That's where we were telling you guys to buy it. Hopefully you did. If you haven't, well, right now would probably be a good idea to start buying it. So what I did was I drew two different sets of fibs just to see what kind of confluence there would be on Brett and where we would go after price discovery. And so we have the all-time high here. So we got the large fib on the large range which puts the 1.618 at 27 cents. Okay, right now Brett's at about 20 cents almost. So about 27 cents on that fib. And then I also drew some fibs on this more recent reaccumulation, this little range right here that I drew in the white. We drew a fib on there. This 1.618 was at, what's that say? 22 cents. And then the 2.618 is at 26 cents. So you see that there's a little bit of confluence right in here. So this 1.618 and this 2.618 are close to each other. So I'm going to expect the price after this next little pump to be up in there. So I'm expecting this to come up like this. So we broke out, okay? We came back down, we retested this level right here, the previous all-time high. You see how we get this perfect little retest on this line. So I'm going to see something like this again, come up here, and then up in here. So I expect the price to come up into this little zone where there's some fib confluence. So we're going to probably see the price go up to about 27 cents and then create another range. So 27 cents from here, it's going to be a nice 20-30% move. So Brett, right here, if you're looking to get a position, this is where I would be buying, is literally right here. You see how we get this big pump, we retrace this pump, and we retest almost perfectly on this fib right here, the previous all-time high. So the previous all-time high has now essentially made itself support, because you see the three different wicks. All these candles wicked down to this area right here, this price area, and that's clearly demand, because as these wicks come down here and tap this line, they start to pump back up, so that the bodies are closing above. So that's now our new support. So you're going to see Brett use that previous all-time high as support and come back up, and then we're gonna see it end this next run up in here in this area. So if you're gonna buy, this right here is where you should be buying on support. Okay. Anything on that, Bees?
No, yeah, I mean, I think right now is, yeah, I don't think Brett's going to go too far below 2 billion again. I mean, especially like you said, I mean, out of I think it's what, the seventh largest meme coin in the entire crypto space.
Right.
The six that are above it all have major listings. You know, if they're not on Robinhood, they're at least on Binance and Coinbase.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, yeah, the listing, not financial advice again, but I think the listing for Bread is inevitable. And I don't think even without listings, it's going to go too far below 2 billion. You know, it might retest that 1.9 billion here the next couple of days as it's ranging and these guys are accumulating. But I mean, once it gets listed, yeah, I think it's going to shoot up to 27 cents at the minimum. And then that's going to become the new support for the rest of the cycle. So now is definitely the time to buy it. I mean, even if you guys have already bought now, even though you may not be DCAing, you may already have a better entry like we do, but it's still, for what's to come for Brett, still a fantastic buy, you know, even if you're not DCAing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is. It's just, I mean, it's going to go higher. That's just the reality of it. So you just want to make sure you're buying on support, not at resistance, so that your bags are going up, not down whenever you buy. So Andy and Wolf are going to be the two lowest market caps of the four of the boys club. So if you guys have not a lot of money to play with, so you got a couple of grand that you're just trying to get a 10, 15x on, sure, $2,000, 10x is $20,000, so it's meaningful, right? If you have a couple of thousand dollars, you want to be going into Andy and Wolf, okay? Because Andy and Wolf are gonna, and again, nobody knows for sure, but at the minimum, they're gonna 10x, okay? At the minimum. So Andy, you see it drawing the similar reaccumulation like we were talking about on all four of the boys club. They're all playing out the same way. The nice thing about Andy is that you're getting this reaccumulation lower than its previous all-time high. So you're seeing this play out right in here, which is below its previous all-time high, which you could call it this wick, you could call it this wick up here. I'm using the wick all the way up here. So you're reaccumulating down here. This is where you want to be buying Andy and getting your bags filled. So I did the same thing on here. I drew two sets of fibs. So I got the fib on the huge range from back in June all the way down to over here in November, we're in December now. So I got the one huge fib, which is this big set And then we got the fibs on this local reaccumulation range. I wanted to see where there was some confluence, and you can see clearly the confluence is right here. So confluence right here at the 1 for the large range, and then the 1.618 on the smaller range. And then you have some confluence at the 1.618 and the 3.618 on the smaller range. Okay, so we go closer in here, right? So you see this confluence right here where these lines overlap. 1.618 overlaps with the large range. So Andy very obviously is going to do something like this, right? And it's most certainly going to react with this range or this area right here because there's a lot of confluence. So that's going to be 381. So that's going to be close to another 2x, okay, from where it's at right now, depending on where you get your entry. So you're going to see a 2x on Andy quickly there. And then if you zoom out a bit, then the next area of importance would do, so you come up here, probably create a new range, right? Do something like this. And then we're going to look at somewhere up in here. This is where you see the next confluence. So at 58761. So you're looking at around $600 million market cap for that next fib confluence. So right now we're at about 230 market cap. So what is that? 2x, 3x?
Almost a 3x.
Yeah, almost a 3x from just right where we're at right now. So, I mean, yeah, it's just, they're going to go higher. Like, what else do you want us to say? It's just, just fucking buy it. I'm showing you. Do you have anything on that, Bees?
No, I mean, I think all the boys club members are in a pretty similar position right now.
Right.
And I think every one of them's a buy. I don't really think you can go wrong. I mean, I think the only way you're going to go wrong is rotating and chasing and trying to day trade the boys club. It's just, it doesn't make sense. They're all going to move over the course of the cycle. Some might front run the other ones, but right. I mean, they're all in accumulation ranges right now. Brett had a little bit of a breakout, but it's back retesting previous all-time highs. It's not going to go much lower than it is right now. So I'd say, in my opinion, the one to have the most urgency on with your entry would be Brett, because I think the Coinbase listing, the Binance listing, the Robinhood listing are coming very soon. And similar to what you saw with Pepe, I mean, as soon as Pepe got listed, it had an 80% move that day. I think after the listing, it's going to go higher. There's going to be an accumulation range exactly like Pepe's doing right now before it sends even higher, before it goes parabolic, similar to what, Dogecoin and SHIB did after their listings. They had the initial, euphoria pump right after the listing. They ranged for about a month, and then they did about another 8 to 10x from what they got listed at. So you don't want to miss out on that pump with Brett. I'd say that's probably the one to have the most urgency with as far as getting involved with. But I mean, I think they're all buys right now. And I think you're going to do very, very well through the rest of Q4, and especially throughout the first couple months of Q1, 2025, with any of them, as long as you guys hold with conviction and you wait for us to give you the green light to sell inside the TC.
And so you guys got to understand, the reason we're so bullish on those four assets, the reason we keep looking at them, is because of how closely they trade with each other. That's what you got to remember. That is not the norm throughout the entire market. What most people do in the entire market is they try to buy the green candles after something's already pumping and trying to catch some kind of residual bid on an asset that's already been moving up. It's not sustainable to trade something that has no correlation to any of the majors. Okay, you want to trade things, or you want to invest in things, because we're not day trading. You want to invest in things that are correlated to the major assets, because Bitcoin has price history, Ethereum has price history, Solana, XRP, they have price history. They've been around for 10 years, right? When you can trade something based off of data, not only does that make you more confident in the long-term holding of that asset, therefore allowing you to hold bags longer without getting emotional about the drawdowns and just buying in more, it allows you to be confident when to buy and when to sell, which is important. You don't want to be just guessing and buying shit just because it looks good or it's green on the day on Coinbase or on fucking Robinhood. That's not how you come out as a victor in these markets. You have to understand that these market makers, They look at retail, they look at people who get on Coinbase and Robinhood and Binance as exit liquidity. You have to understand this is the way that they look at you. Okay? They're looking at you to buy the bags when they're much higher valuation so they can exit the market and dump on your heads. So many people, I've heard so many people back in 2021 how they buy Dogecoin, they bought Solana, they bought Bitcoin, all these things whenever the hype was at its highest, and they're all like, "Oh my god, I lost money. Yeah, I lost money on Dogecoin, I lost money on Bitcoin, etc." Yeah, because they used you as exit liquidity, right? That's exactly what you are as a retail investor. So you got to get on the other side and say, okay, what's Priyamo doing? What's Logan doing? What are these guys inside the Taylor's Code doing? Oh, what we're doing is we're buying the assets before they're mainstream. We're buying the assets, understanding what the narrative is, so that whenever it does come time to sell, retail, our exit liquidity, is jumping into the markets and buying our bags. That's the game. That's the name of the game. So, I mean, decide what side do you want to be on.
Yeah, TC is the edge.
Yeah. I mean, guys, we've made you guys. If anybody has me on Snapchat and seen some of the posts with my one wallet, and I mean, yeah, it's just we're printing money. I mean, what else do you want me to say?